You know the idea of Murphy's Law, where everything that can go wrong will? Yeah, that's totally this movie. Gravity stars Sandra Bullock and George Clooney, and if I had to pick one word to describe this movie, it would probably be wow. Gravity is directed by Alfonso Cuarón, who, in my personal opinion, is one of the best directors living today. He is probably most known for directing probably the best movie of the Harry Potter franchise. I remember watching all of the Harry Potter movies, I think 8 of them, and I remember thinking to myself, yeah, Azkaban is where it was really good. But when I became a true fan of Alfonso Cuarón was when I saw his movie Children of Men back in 2006. That is probably one of the best movies I've ever seen, period. If you have not seen Children of Men, you should see it. But also see this movie because this one's good too. Gravity has a pretty straightforward story. What it is Sandra Bullock and George Clooney are up in space. They're astronauts. Well, she's technically like a medical engineer, but they're trying to make repairs to the Hubble telescope because NASA isn't retrieving the data from it correctly. So they're up there making their repairs, and that's when everything goes bad. Debris starts flying in and tearing shit up, and she gets separated from her team, and she's all floating out into space and can't seem to get a grip on reality. This movie is not boring. It's actually the complete opposite. It's a non-stop throwaway. Once you get past the first 15 minutes, which is pretty much the setup, it comes in with a large wide-angle shot, kind of zooming in and everything. It's really one of the best parts of the movie, just the kind of the dynamics of the opening shot. You see them working on it, and then once the debris starts coming in, then once everything goes bad, pretty much, it's non-stop throwaway. I was on the edge of my seat until the very end. I mean, you see Sandra Bullock's character go through so much shit, like, it's endless. She keeps going through all this shit, and you're just like, make it through already. But and it's not silly. It's actually one of the more realistic space movies I'd ever seen. I've seen like most space movies. I haven't seen every space movie obviously, but like I've seen the Apollo 13. I've seen Armageddon, and while Apollo 13 was very good, Armageddon was not. It was not realistic at all. I mean, the idea of flying around an asteroid, flying towards Earth at like millions of miles an hour, flying around it, then flying back to it, to land on it, to drill on it, makes no fucking sense whatsoever. One thing that was really, really beautiful is the visuals. The visuals were breathtaking. Have you ever gone to one of those planetariums where you go inside of this room and they flip on like these lights and you're looking up and all you see is like the stars and planets up and you're like, this is so real. That's what this movie was for me. It was just like I was looking, I saw the first shot of Earth and I was just like, wow. I like went up in my chair and I was just like, holy shit. It was beautiful, beautiful stuff, like the stars, the planets, just like even the special effects with the debris crashing down. It was completely well done, and the visuals of this movie are still going to be talked about years from now. That's how good they are. I would be very, very surprised myself if they didn't get recognition at the award ceremonies for this special effects and CGI stuff. It's the only way to really describe the visuals is breathtakingly beautiful, because that's what they are. I was amazed completely. The visuals are so real, looking and beautiful that you feel like you're actually there, like with them, witnessing this, and that's why I feel like we can latch on to Sandra Bullock's character easily, because like she's probably given the most backstory of anyone in the movie, but like still it's not enough time. It's a survival movie. She's kind of going through all this shit, and you don't really get to feel for her character, but you do, because you feel like you're with her in that suit. Like you see her, which is again the direction, like you see her view of things, you see her point of view, like you see her reaching for shit and climbing and like grasping for air, and she's looking out and you see the Earth and the stars, like you're seeing things from her point of view, and I think that really helps latch onto her character, even though her character is developed pretty well for the amount of time it was given, but still not a lot of time to give complete details and stuff, you know. But you also got to give credit to Sandra Bullock. She pulled this off completely. It was top-notch acting. The thing is that this role is not easy to do. I mean, you look and say, oh, she's in a suit, she's floating away, and all she's doing is screaming and panting. No, that's not it at all. That's bullshit. What she has to do is actually physically demanding. It's a hard role to do, and it reminds me almost of Tom Hanks in Castaway. it's literally so similar. They're both on screen for about 80% of the movies, just them. And they both have to show their acting and their emotions through their body movements and facial expressions, and it's really hard, and it's hard on the body to do. And I give her complete credit for being able to do that. And the thing is, her acting is so phenomenal in this movie, I would be surprised if she didn't get award recognition. If she could get nominated and win for her performance in The Blind Side, then she should be a shoo-in here, because it is just amazing stuff. And Clooney's not bad. You know, Clooney's just up there being Clooney. He's goofing off, he's floating around, he's listening to his music, telling jokes, telling stories, commenting on how ridiculously good looking he is. Yes, Clooney, we are well aware of your good looks. But you know, he's there to like keep her calm and keep her collected so that she can like get through some stuff. You know, he's like kind of like the confident voice in her ear saying, hey, you need to fight, you need to survive. And he plays it extremely well. He is so cool in this movie, and it's just Clooney. That's the way I feel like he is in real life. I feel like if I met George Clooney, he would just be like that cool dude who was just like confident all the time and would just like be super, super nice. Also, I'm going to add that I'm really, really happy they did the Firefly thing. For those of you who don't know what that means, Firefly was a show on Fox that got canceled after like half a season. And what it was like a western in space. And what they did that was really, really well done is that you would see all this gunfire and ships flying and all this stuff going on in space, but you wouldn't get to hear any of it because there is no sound in space. And I'm really glad that Gravity did this because it's actually realistic that you wouldn't hear any of it. And it's fine for one thing, Sandra Bullock, you hear her like panting and screaming, you hear her like turning knobs and like drilling and stuff, but it's, you know, you see the debris come in and tear all this shit up and you don't hear it, which makes it fucking terrifying. Like if you're up there and you're like drilling and you're doing something, you don't know if this shit's coming at you, if like you don't see it, like all of a sudden you just feel the woof of an explosion like pushing you miles away. It's really, really terrifying, and this movie did an excellent job of that. I had goosebumps when I first saw the debris first come in because I was completely like, holy shit, like you can't hear it, what are you supposed to do? And they did it really, really well, and I have to give them complete credit for that. I love how realistic they were, and it was just very, very, very well done. But in saying that, with everything considered, I'm going to give Gravity a solid A. I love pretty much every second of this movie. It deserves all the attention it's getting. It is one of, if not the best movie I've seen so far this year. And so tell me, what are your favorite movies? What movies would you like to see be reviewed by me on here?